Get ready to fight from within. You're about to go behind enemy lines.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage. Over.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Berardelli and Russ Gallo.
And you're now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Berardelli here with you. So glad you can join us, whether you're listening to us at www.behindenemylinesradio.us, where you listen to us on any one of our rebroadcast outlets, on AM at radio, FM radio, on the interwebs, whatever the case may be, or if you're taking us with you as a podcast. We're just glad that you decided to join us this week. Got so much to talk about. No time for any guests or anything else other than the week that was in politics, and my, oh my, did we have a lot going on, a whole lot of shaking going on in the past week. I mean, doesn't it seem like forever ago that we had that whole flub with the Academy Awards, with the Oscars, about who won Best Picture and all that other nonsense? The people on the left who want to think that they can run the nation better than the Trump administration came and run an award show, doesn't that seem like a million years ago? And rightfully so, because we have so many bigger issues to discuss that are affecting your life, my life, our nation. So let's get into it right now. I want to start out with discussing the faux outrage, the fake scandal out there. And I know what you're saying to yourself right now. Well, which one, Gene? There's so many out there, I agree with you, but the biggest one to me, as an attorney, as someone who knows how to prepare someone for statements under oath, is this whole fake scandal about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and what he said before the Senate during his confirmation hearings. Now, let's be clear. When it comes to a deposition, whether it's for a personal injury matter or it's for something a lot bigger, like a Senate confirmation hearing, the stakes are higher in one and not the other, but let's be clear that the goals are the same. The goals are to convey and communicate testimony that is, number one, truthful, and number two, responsive to the questions that are being asked of you. It's very important to prepare yourself for such examinations, and in doing so, the preparation starts with, above all else, answer the question that is asked of you. Very simple, but very hard to do sometimes. We as humans have a need to please each other. Not going there, but especially when it comes to communication, we have this tendency to want to give an answer that will satisfy the other person rather than give an answer that may be 100% truthful and responsive. I deal with clients all the time when preparing for a deposition against an adversary. And there is a bit of an adversarial aspect to a Senate confirmation hearing when members of another party who are against your position, your point of view, are questioning you, trying to get that gotcha moment, trying to get that aha moment, trying to get that moment that slips you up. Jeff Sessions was under a lot of pressure answering those questions because he was answering only what was asked. Now let's remember the question that started this whole issue, and the issue involves Russian involvement in the Trump campaign, or alleged Russian involvement in the Trump campaign. The question that Senator Franken of Minnesota asked Jeff Sessions, quote, if there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do? Now, at the outset, it may seem like Jeff Sessions should answer about all interactions with the Russian government to be completely truthful and answer the question. But then you're breaking the cardinal rule of answering only what is asked of you. Let's break down the question. If there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicating with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do? There are two qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen, to this question. The first one is anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign. That limits your universe of people. It includes Jeff Sessions. It includes anybody within the Trump campaign. Communicating with the Russian government in the course of this campaign being the 2016 presidential election. You're limiting your time frame and the context of the conversations. Communications by certain people about a certain campaign. That is two qualifiers that need to be addressed in the question. So while Senator Sessions may have had contact with the Russian government in his capacity as a senator or as a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee or in any other capacity outside the campaign, is non-responsive to Senator Franken's question. If Senator Franken wanted to know about Jeff Sessions' interactions with the Russian government in total, he would have asked that. If he wanted to know about Jeff Sessions' interactions with the Russian government in total in the year 2016, he could have asked that. But he didn't ask that. He limited his question specifically to people affiliated with the Trump campaign, contacting the Russian government in the course of the campaign, during the campaign, as part of the campaign. And Jeff Sessions' answer was responsive to the question. He answered what was asked. Quote, Senator Franken, I am not aware of any of those activities, referring to communications with the Russian government in the course of the campaign. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have any communications with the Russians, and I am unable to comment on it being anything being hypothetical. If this, what will you do? The question's qualified. It's limited to Trump activities. It's limited to those people. Jeff Sessions answered truthfully. His answer was relevant. Everything else is political colored bubbles, ladies and gentlemen, because what they want to get Jeff Sessions on and get that gotcha moment about is talking about interactions that Jeff Sessions had outside the Trump campaign. And in the year 2016, there were two such meetings. Meeting number one, Jeff Sessions was part of the, quote, Global Partners in Diplomacy educational program that was sponsored by, get this, the U.S. State Department, run by President Obama and the Trump and the Obama administration, the Heritage Foundation, and other sponsoring entities as part of the RNC convention. The conference was an educational program for ambassadors who were invited by the State Department to attend. And Jeff Sessions was giving the keynote speech at this event. That is a far cry and outside the scope wholly of Senator Franken's question. The second meeting was Jeff Sessions acting as a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, meeting with members of the Russian government, in particular the Russian ambassador to the U.S. The meeting was held in his Senate office. It's a matter of public record. Jeff Sessions was doing his job as a member of the Senate, the same body that was now questioning him about interactions with the Russian government as part of the campaign. Now, listen, all this could have been avoided if Senator Franken knew how to ask a proper question or knew how to ask a follow-up question. He could have said, okay, putting the campaign aside, what interactions have you personally had with the Russian government in the year 2016, if any? And then if he would have said none, now you got a problem, because there's public record that shows, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, there were meetings. There's public record that shows that he was the keynote speaker at the RNC convention educational program that was put on by the State Department. Now you got some hot water and you got some smoke and fire. But not by leaving that question alone, having it answered properly, and then moving on in your line of inquiry. This is the definition of a fake controversy. This is fake news. Bringing this up and claiming that this is a possible scandal is reporting fake news because it shows your ignorance of the actual legal process. Listen, to me, this is deposition prep 101 for a first-year legal associate in a law firm. You prep your client for the questioning that's to come. And part of that prep is stressing Answer only what is asked of you. Now, to Jeff Sessions' credit, in looking to diffuse the matter, and in my opinion, going above and beyond his legal responsibilities and obligations, he decided on his own to recuse himself from any possible investigations into the Trump campaign vis-a-vis Russian influence, Russian interaction, etc. He didn't have to do that. Lest we forget all the times when Eric Holder should have recused himself from certain investigations. I mean, Fast and Furious comes to mind first and foremost. All the times that Congress wanted to hold Eric Holder to a proper standard. Jeff Sessions is holding himself to a higher standard than any attorney general under the Obama administration ever did. He managed to be applauded for what he is doing. And he even went further to say that he would amend his testimony and did so in written form to the committee to further clarify and amplify his answer, to include those interactions outside of the campaign in the spirit of transparency. He didn't have to do that. He was under no legal obligation to do that. Jeff Sessions is going above and beyond because he understands the position of Attorney General and what it means. He understands the level of trust that President Trump has put into him and the level of trust that the American people will demand from him. It's an extremely ethical position he's taking, and to me, the man should be applauded for it, not discredited. He did his job. He answered the questions properly, truthfully, with relevant information that was asked of him. It's not his fault that the senator who was asking the question, Al Franken, didn't do a proper job of inquiring about information that he wanted to find out about. Jeff Sessions is doing a good job, and hopefully he'll continue to do a good job for the American people. And by showing that he has this level of respect for the office and level of respect for the American people to go above and beyond what is legal and ethical obligations are, says a lot about the man, and I applaud what he did. Frankly, I wouldn't have done it. I would have told everybody to go scratch. That's just me. I would have done that because I understand the legalities of the situation, but Jeff Sessions is probably a better man than me. We're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, we're going to get a little more serious. We're going to start talking about the biggest news of the week thus far. And yes, Obamacare Light is part of that, but we're going to be talking about the whole wiretapping issue coming out of a tweet from President Trump and causing a firestorm, and why this may be the make it or break it moment of the Trump administration, even in these first 100 days. Gene Berardelli behind enemy lines. We'll be back right after these brief words. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com, check out the website, check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on, make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American